excuse me. I think I have one more thing, or maybe a couple more things to add. So, under normal circumstances, especially since I'm trying to lean more towards raw, that's the goal. I don't know, unless there's some kind of like, because we could have went to Gigi's. I think that's my caveat. I think that's why I'm leaning here. So Gigi's is the raw vegan restaurant here in the city. It's chocolate owned. I tend to lean in that regard toward chocolate owned business. That's just my leaning. They have other raw vegan places in the city, but it's just my preference, and it's closer in the city to where I hang out. So proximity, and it's chocolate owned. And I only say that because I don't know that raw, or the stereotype for vegans, and he said it yesterday when we were talking. He was like, oh, it's mostly rabbit food in normal Gen X fashion. That's completely normal, nothing out of the ordinary. Especially if you've never, especially if you're Gen X and you've never tried anything vegan. So, initially we met up at the Mix, which is kind of a, it's a mixed because they have everything. They have stuff for vegans and they have stuff for people who aren't vegan. And so he was like, no, I want to try vegan food. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And I could have took him to Gigi's, but I feel like for somebody coming from non-vegan territory, so I want to caveat it by saying, or I want to add to it by saying, not caveat, that he was at Veg Fest and did not try any food at all. He didn't try anything. I later find out that he loves fish. He's from Jamaica. He loves fish. They had 2 vegan vendors there that was vegan seafood. And he was just in the atmosphere and didn't try anything. So keep that in mind. So, not only that, the vendors that did carry vegan seafood there at the event, those lines were the longest. So if you don't know, or if you're not sure, or if you're not vegan and you're at a vegan event, you can just go to where the lines are the longest. That's your visual cue. The other piece of information is, so he was at Veg Fest and did not try anything. One of the vegan seafood places offered Rasta pasta. He's from Jamaica. And they also had vegan oxtail egg rolls. So he just happened to be there. I don't know if he normally just goes to the park to hang out. That's where he hangs out. He just saw all the cars and all the things and decided, but he was there for a good period of time and did not try anything. So number 2 reason where well, fortunate for him, the vendors who had the vegan seafood were not from here. So if he would have tried the dishes and liked them well, then he would have had to drive a good ways to have it again. I think one of the locals makes a vegan rasta pasta. I think Vegan Vittles does. So with that being said, he would have had access to that, but I don't know if he would have had access to the vegan egg rolls, like the oxtail egg rolls. They're kind of hard to get a hold of, the actual oxtails that they make them with. I don't know if they have a homemade recipe or if they order from, I think her name is Miss Sunshine or something like that. She's vegan and she makes vegan oxtails. And she will ship all over the world. So I don't know if they have their own blend, like they make their own or in-house, or if they order hers and put them inside of their egg rolls. So maybe it's for the best that he didn't try anything, because neither one of those vendors are local. But that being said, so he was at Veg Fest, did not try any food at all. And so I think Gigi's would have been a little aggressive as far as your first vegan try. Not only that, some of the things that he did try were rated pretty highly. They did amazing at the fix. So, and that's my, now, in this particular case, he had never had a Reuben and he had never had a wrap. So, he didn't even have a example of what they're supposed to take like if they're not vegan, but they still were rated pretty highly according to his taste buds. So, and then I wasn't gonna not eat. not this particular day. So when you're introducing non-vegans, I hope that even if you're raw or raw leaning or a high percentage of raw, I hope that you're not taking people who are not vegan to a raw vegan restaurant as their first stop. Unless you know, like, you could probably do that with me, because even before I was vegan, I ate a lot of vegetables, just generally speaking. And some rare events, extremely rare, and I think this person is a millennial, but there's a vegan influencer who was meat and potatoes prior to being vegan, and then just stuck to the process. But that was his own will. Like, he wasn't being introduced to veganism by somebody else. It's something he pursued himself. So I'm just thinking of variables where that would work. But if I've seen better success, or I've witnessed better success vegan wise with people who start with vegan cooked and then do research and kind of teeter in and make their way. They stick their foot in the pool, they stick their toe in the water, and then they jump in. But I don't know if raw is the way for somebody who is vegan curious but not sold at all. especially if they're of certain means and they can, but they don't. So that would be your clue, is that, well, you can, and you haven't ventured out to try, and this is not your own pursuit. You're just doing it because you want to spend time, or whatever the variable is. So, with that being said, if you're introducing someone to the life, consider all the variables. Are they pursuing it in and of themselves? Or are they just curious? Especially Gen X wise. Gen X. Lord have mercy. All right, y'all. That's it. I figure, like, if it were me and I were watching my video, I would say, if you're raw, why didn't you take them to raw? Why did you take them to cook? And I think some environments and some people are not as receptive to that drastic of a leap. Especially given the variables. Met him at VegFest, not a vegan, and didn't even try things that he didn't even look at the menu. Anyway, alright, you guys have a good one. Yeah, especially after I saw that Reuben, I was like, oh no, this is a go. Reuben is a go. And it's got sauerkraut on. It's for gut health and digestion. Fermented cabbage. Delicious. It was so good. I'm gonna have dreams about it. That was delicious. People at the Fix, y'all did that. Did a good job. Good job. So good. Alright. That'll be all. I think I had something else to say, but maybe another video. Who knows? Oh. Orange peeler. I have two. Only because I call it the vitamin C bomb. It's nothing but lemons, grapefruit, and oranges, especially when I'm not feeling good. But that's a lot of peeling if you're making juice. Oh, ginger, lemon, grapefruit, oranges, ginger and everything. Guys, I didn't get ginger in my smoothie today. Grave mistake. Ginger and everything. Trust me. Ginger and everything. Even if it's just a little. Put it in there. Alright, y'all. Amazon. I think it's like, for two of them, it's like $5 or something. Alrighty. Have a good day, guys.